I came to bury sleep.
Cursed spite that ever I was born to set it.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?
This is the excellent foppery of the world.
I first became aware of Shakespeare, as I guess many of us become aware of Shakespeare, in high school. Julius Caesar, I remember, was the first play that I read. And I didn't understand a word of it. I mean, not a word. To me, it was a foreign language. And but I had a great teacher who began to talk in personal terms about each of these characters. So it was through the characters that I found my way into Shakespeare. I know a lot of people find their way in other ways, from the standpoint of lyric poetry or the standpoint of, he was a great dramatist, of course. But that was my first experience, Julius Caesar, and then I saw a Shakespeare play. And I remember my drama teacher in high school asking the question on a test, who is the most famous Shakespearean actor alive today? I had no idea. I mean, absolutely no idea. It was Laurence Olivier. That was the answer. And I had never heard of Laurence Olivier. But from that moment on, when I went away to university, Laurence Olivier became like a fixation for me. And I went and saw all the movies that he made. Hamlet and Richard III and Henry V. And he became my god. And then, some years later, I auditioned for the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. And I had never done any Shakespeare before. And I was accepted. And the first summer that I was there was the summer of 1962. I was cast as Antipholus of Syracuse in The Comedy of Errors. And it's a wonderful part. It's like a mini Petruchio. He's got great charm, and there's lots of comedy. And so I realized that I had an affinity for this language and for this character. And also that summer I played Westmoreland in Henry IV Part 2 and a Roman senator in Coriolanus. So it was a pretty good summer. I came back a year later, 1963, and was cast as Henry V in Henry V, Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet, and Barone in Love's Labour's Lost. And in those days, you would stay 4 days and see 4 plays, and I was in 3 of the 4 plays. I think I had a night off, because that was a lot of memorizing, a tremendous amount. But I learned through that process I learned how to differentiate between characters, and particularly from a physical point of view. And I remember for Henry V, I sort of emulated Laurence Olivier and had sort of a page boy, and I sprayed my hair blonde. It was, oh my God. And then the next night it was played Mercutio, and so I said, well, he's got to be a redhead with a beard, and then the following night Barone, who sort of had a mustache and was clean shaven and had dark hair. Anyway, I think I lost all of my hair that summer because of the sprays that I was putting in, these terrible toxic things. Anyway, it was great fun, but I loved the experience of playing these different roles. And so I knew I was going to be going to the Yale Drama School in the fall, and I wanted to audition for Joe Papp for the Shakespeare Festival, which I did. And he asked me if I was a member of Equity, and I said no. And he said, well, you're going to be, because you're going to play Marcellus, and I didn't know it at the time, but the player king in Hamlet, production of Hamlet that was, Alfred Ryder was playing Hamlet, and Julie Harris was playing Ophelia. And Nan Martin was Gertrude, Stotts Cotsworth was Polonius. I remember vividly. Tom Clunas played Horatio. But Alfred Ryder never made it to opening night. Robert Burr, who was Richard Burton's understudy, took over on a Wednesday, and I'll never forget it because I was up in Connecticut. I didn't know that there was a rehearsal. They were trying to reach me. They didn't reach me. I arrived at the theater at half hour, only to be told that there's another Hamlet going on stage. So I met Robert Burr on stage when he said, "Marcellus?" I said, "Aye, my good Lord." He said, "I'm very glad to see you." I mean, it was a great moment in my life.